Hey, Shalom, Malcolm, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth, and that's what teaching this truth, and much peace, love, and salutations to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes and who the Lord will deliver in his last days. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamon from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another lesson. And Lord willing, today this lesson will be edifying to the point. And I want to do a lesson on this article that you see here on the screen. This is from SOTT.net, which is short for signsofthetimes.net. And the title reads, it says, Pentagon issues federal directive allowing military to use lethal force against Americans. Kamala wants to weaponize DOJ, which is short for the Department of Justice. And I recently, yesterday, I actually did a lesson on how Donald Trump, he wants to implement something called Project Aurora, which is short for going in for Aurora, Colorado, which he wants to reenact the illegal or the immigrant invasion, or the Alien Immigrant Invasion Act of 1798. It might not be worded that, but pretty much it's the detention of pretty much illegals, quote unquote. If the United States is at war with this particular country, or if they're at war with this particular country, this, that, and the third, if your line goes back to the country that America could be at war with, you could be subject to go to prison. Now he's saying that he wants to use this act, all right, to stop the Venezuelan gangs that cross the border, this, that, and the third. But we already know the scripture says that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Okay, and he speaks in code. All right, so these laws that are being passed, which have already been prescribed, all right, all they're doing is just sharpening their sword to use against Jake. And beginning with the apostles, bishops, and elders on down, we've been saying that, martial law is going to be implemented in these streets, and you're going to have a lot of death. You're going to have a lot of destruction. You're going to have a lot of bloodshed by the force of the sword. And the sword is a modern day gun. The sword could be any weapon that could be used to implement death. Okay? And the sword of the Lord, when you read in Psalm 17 and 13, all right, it's the wicked. And we know who the wicked is, alluding to Malachi, the first chapter. The wicked are the Edomites. The whipping stick that the Lord set up to punish Jake on this side. Okay, so we're coming into some very, very heavy times prophetically, all right, as well as times of trouble, as this year is deemed through the Spirit the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. All right, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, which we only got a few months left in 2024, and then we'll be in 2025, man, and it's just going to continue to get worse. Okay, as a matter of fact, before we read the article, let's grab a precept. Let's get what Yahweh Shai said. This is Matthew 24. Matthew 24 verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." And now, are we not in a time where there's all kinds of wars and rumors of wars going about? Rumors about Israel striking Iran before the presidential election, and Iran striking back and retaliating. You still got the issue going on between Russia and Ukraine still taking place and happening. You got assassination attempts going on Donald Trump's life, so-called. I'm doing air quotes. You got all these various different things that are happening simultaneously at the same time. So these are all rumors, But a rumor goes into a speech or a doctrine. You see? And it's our job as prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to report on these things. All right, so it reads, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? It says, see that ye be not troubled. All right, we're not to be troubled at the rumors of these things. Okay, we're not to be troubled at the rumors of these things. We're to remain firm. All right, in the prophecies, we're to remain firm of what of the promise of what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said that they would do. All right, it says, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, because we understand and know that before all hell starts totally breaking loose, you know, and ICBM thermonuclear missiles start flying, and America gets destroyed, Israel gets destroyed, and these different kingdoms get put down, and Yahushua returns. Before that happens, the MOTB, which is the Marco-Sihib, has to be made mandatory worldwide first, because that's you know, the prophecy of Esau attempted to fulfill, to fill his belly, has to come to pass. He has to feel as if he has to feel as if he has got the grip of the whole planet Earth via the Marco-Sihib, which that, you know, the Marco-Sihib hasn't been made mandatory yet. That has to happen first. All right, but that doesn't mean that we're not at the time. Okay, this prophecy could very well come to pass, you know, here, you know, next year, if we're still here. You know, it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, right? And there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes, in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. You see that? All these things are the beginning of troublous times to come. Okay? So, let's look at this article once again. It reads, it says, Pentagon issues federal directive allowing military to use lethal force against Americans. Kamala wants to weaponize DOJ. And this is a DOD directive, Department of Defense Directive 5240.01. DOD intelligence and intelligence-related activities and defense intelligence component assistance to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities. Pretty much weaponizing the police. It's pretty much what that is, you know. It says a video clip has resurfaced from May of 2019 in which Kamala Harris fantasizes about weaponizing the DOJ against speech the government doesn't like, and the platforms that allow it. Now, one of the speeches, if you will, the main speech, I'd rather say, that this government, you know, and that the powers that be don't like, is the fact that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai set up his prophets on every major street corner here in Babylon the Great, America, as well as various different parts of the planet Earth. You see? And what that is, you know, that's the Lord shaking the hand. All right, like it says here in Isaiah. We'll get that real quick. Isaiah the 13th chapter. Isaiah 13 verse 2. All right, it reads, it says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. All right, and that high mountain is talking about Babylon the Great, which the Lord is going to make turn into a burnt mountain. All right, when you read the scriptures, a lot of times when you see the phrase of a mountain, it could be talking about a physical mountain. But mountains also represents governments. Okay, so it says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them. You see that? And we're exalting the voice by way of proclaiming these prophecies, man. All right, pretty much going in at Esau, pretty much letting him know, you know, his accusations, man. Okay, it says, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And who are the nobles? The gates of the nobles is talking about the powers that be, because these high-level banking families, whether it be the R Childs, the R Fellers, the DuPonts, the Gateys, the Morgans, the Oppenheimers, so on and so forth, all these elite, you know, the Morgans, if I haven't said them already, you know, these high-level banking families that control the known world as we know it. As the scripture says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. They know about this. They know about what they see happen. They watch our videos. They know exactly who we are. They know exactly who they are. You know, there's a document called the master plan of the illuminated R Childs, and they know that their seed and their line, all right, goes back to the Edomites. They know that. So what, if they understand and know that, what are they trying to do? They're trying to, and I've been saying this as of lately, they're trying to get a grip and establish, and get back, if you will, which it was never given to them, but they want to try to take back, quote unquote, the blessing that was handed to Jacob. After Jacob finessed Esau of the blessing, they're trying to get it back, but they can't get it back because the blessing was already promised to us in the spirit. So what's he going to try to do? He's going to try to slay and kill his brother Jacob, as he said he would try to do. So our job as prophets is to what? Is to combat, and not physically, but our job is to combat what we see via the word, breaking down strongholds, letting the wicked know who they are. All right, letting 2/3 of our people know what's getting ready to happen. All these various different things. Our job is to proclaim these things upon the rooftops. Okay? Verse 3, it says, I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger. All right, and the sanctified ones, we are the sanctified ones of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Lord willing me of that elect number. And the mighty ones is talking about the angels, even them that rejoice in my highness. See, because we're ultimately letting them know that, look, America's getting ready to be destroyed. This beast system is getting ready to be destroyed. Okay? Your power that you have on this side, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is going to strip you of your power. All right? Because it was given to you from the Lord, so it's going to be taken from you from the Lord. Okay? And we're saying that directly to his face. And they don't like that. And they don't like this message that's being brought out. Here it is, you got a message being brought out that your kingdom is getting ready to be put down and that you're getting ready to be put into slavery. You're gonna be the first fruit of slavery. You think that they like that message? You think they're going like, well, it's all good. No, like that's a threat. That's a threat against them. So they're gonna try to pull out all the stops. You see, but the Lord gonna lift up a standard. The scripture says, let me get this real quick and I'll go back to the article. Excuse me, the scripture says this, he that set the snare shall fall. Is he that set the snare? I think it's in Psalm. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Or it might actually be in Proverbs. Give me 1 second. Nah. It might be the trap. No, it's not trap. I thought the word snare. Is it gin? Let me see. Nah, that ain't it either. I thought I could have sworn the word snare is in there. If I can't find it, I may have to just put it in the comment board. Let me do it like this. This is a good one too, if I can find. I think. Okay, here we go. This is actually the one I was looking for. It's pit. It was the word pit. All right. This is Proverbs 26 and 27. Salaki for that. It says, "Whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein." And a pit. When you get that word system, it actually goes back to the word pit. So this system or this pit, this hell that has been systematically set up to oppress you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which we are the biblical Israelites. All right. This whole system and snares and traps that's been set up for us, at the end of the day, it's all going to backfire on Esau. Even with him trying to set up his new W order, it's all going to backfire on him at the end of the day. So it says, whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein, right? And he that rolleth a stone, right, it will return upon him. You see? So all the snares and all the traps that this devil's laying, it's all ultimately all going to come back to bite him in the ass at the end of the day. You see? Because as soon as he tries to make the move on the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that's when the Lord is going to, the Lord is already intervening, but that's when the Lord is going to truly intervene and lift up that standard and really bring the smack down on Esau, man. Okay? It says here back in the article, it says, in the meantime, 1 month before a tense presidential election, the U.S. Department of Defense has authorized U.S. military, quote-unquote, defense intelligence components to use, quote-unquote, lethal force against American citizens if requested by state or local law enforcement in an emergency situation. Now, what could this emergency situation be? This emergency situation could be war breaks out. This emergency situation could be somebody could be A to the double S, the A to the double S-inated. Even though I said the word earlier. An emergency situation could be a epidemic. Okay, epidemic, right? There could be all kinds of emergency situations, but these are laws that are set up. All right, and remember, all right, just remember these Edomites, they have an agenda. You see, remember the scripture says before the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. So they already have these laws, and they have these laws set up in place. They have events set up in place. They already have these things set up so that they can just enact their order out of chaos. So let's read this again. It says, the U.S. Department of Defense has authorized U.S. military, quote-unquote, defense intelligence components to use lethal force. What's lethal force? Lethal force is you getting your ass put to death, right? Against American citizens, domestic terrorism, right? If requested by state or local, local law enforcement, which is your police, in an emergency situation. All this is a fancy way of saying martial law. That's all that is. It's a fancy way of saying martial law. Okay? This is the devil coming down with great wrath. And it's backed by law. All right, let's get the scripture. It says he frameth mischief by law. Psalm 94, verse 20. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? You see, now this mischief is being framed by a law. Now let's get mischief. Let's get frameth actually first. It says that he frames mischief by law. That word frameth is yatazar in the Hebrew, yatazar. All right, and it says frame. Devise in the mind. You see that? Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. I quoted it earlier, Micah 2:1. You see, it's all framed. That frames mischief. Mischief is Aimal, right? Trouble, mischief, as done to others. That frames or devises trouble or mischief, right? By a law. And that word law is chak. Okay? Chak. That's how you pronounce it in the Hebrew. All right? And it says here, it says law in general. It says law in general, according to law. Right. Others against law. So it's according to law. You see, they're framing or devising trouble by way of making a law out of it. And this is how you know this is talking about the so-called self-proclaimed white man. They prescribe unrighteous decrees, man. You see? And when these laws get passed, you think we're gonna be out there on the street corner still prophesying and preaching? Wow, it's gonna be lethal force activated against you? No. Absolutely not. You're not going to be able to go out there and to be preaching in the midst of having lethal force. No, it's all going to, that's us. What we do right now is all going to be out. It's going to be banned. It's going to be a law passed, whereas it's going to be a criminal offense worthy of death to speak this word out in public. And that's really going to be when the famine of the word is commenced. And that's very soon. All these laws are being passed. Let's go here real quick. Isaiah 32, verse 7. All right, it reads, it says, the instruments also of the churl are evil. All right, let's get a few words here. That word instruments is kaliyah, or kaliyah, right? The instruments of the churl. All right, and that word instruments here, kaliyah. All right, figurative. So this is figurative, right? Isaiah 32 and 7. It says, and a knave, right? Let's get this definition here. It says in cards, a scoundrel, right? A scoundrel. The instruments, it says, and a knave or scoundrel, his weapons, you see, i.e. devices. You see that? His weapons is his devices that he puts out there. You see, his weapons, his sword is a lot bigger than just a gun. You know, his weaponry that he also has is the different schemes that he's plotting too. It's all weaponized against you. His weapons, i.e. devices, his machinations, his machinations. You see a plot, or there it is right there, a plot or a scheme. His schemes and his plots are also weapons too. He weaponizes his plots. It says his machinations are evil. You see that? This is what's going to cause trouble. So the instruments or his plots of the churl, you have a kayalia, all right, which is knave. We got that word earlier, knave, right? Scoundrel. So it says the instruments also of the churl are evil. You see that? It says he deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words. He had two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. And when the needy speaketh right. You see? So these are all the plots and schemes, you know, that he's setting up against you, right in front of your face. But you got you bonehead, big head ass niggas over here, you know, crying and voting and things of that nature. When, man, at the end of the day, man, it's all gonna all backfire on your ass, man, and it's all gonna backfire on you when it's all said and done. Okay. So it says, in the meantime, 1 month. I'm sorry, I already read that. It says, more on this in a minute. But first, let's get to the May 2019 video showing Kamala Harris unleashing her inner dictator. And she's being controlled, man. You know, Kamala Harris, right? She's being controlled. All right, it's already been a video that's been leaked showing a damn earpiece in her ear, pretty much her being told what to say. That's all that a president is, man. A president is nothing more than just a glorified servant. All right, that's being told exactly what to say and what to do. Okay? It says, speaking at the annual NAACP Fight for Freedom Fund dinner in Detroit, Harris threatened, "We will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism." You see? Counter the extremism. Now, they already deem this, as we know it, they already deem it as extremism, and they have particular people set up like Vocab Malone and others, you know, the Southern Poverty Law Center, to deem this truth as an act of extremism. We know that already. You see? But these are things that we all got to go through. As the scripture says, that it says what's that in Acts 14 and 22? Through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom. Okay, it says she went on to say she would hold, quote unquote, hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms. What's one of the main platforms they use or that they talking about? YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You know, because they have because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. If you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable. Okay? And that's what they want to do. They want to they want to monitor and control social media, and block particular messages from going out. In particular content and information from going out because it could be deemed as misinformation or whatever the case may be, or it could be deemed as speech directed against their agenda, which lines right up with Isaiah the 29th chapter, where it tells you that they're going to make a man an offender for a word. Okay. Isaiah 29 verse 20, it says, "For the terrible one is brought to naught." And that terrible one, all right, it's talking about Esau. He's the terrible one. Because through this word, he's being brought down. It says, "And the scorner is consumed." All the scoffers and scorners, the naysayers, ultimately they're all going to be consumed whenever this truth is revealed, which is already being revealed. But what I mean by being revealed is Yahweh shall return and judging them for their actions, right? And all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, right? There it is right there. That makes a man an offender. That word offender in the Hebrew is chata, which means to sin. The transgression of their law, you see? And lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Remember, the scripture says that they hate him that rebuketh in the gate. And they want to try to cut that connection off, because the more they see, Jake waking up, which the only Jake that's going to wake up are the elect of the nation of Israel. But the more and more they see Jake waking up, they know that their power is waning faster and faster. So they ultimately just want to cut this message off. They want to disconnect that connection. They want to try to unplug it, but they can't, because it's a spiritual connection that they can't unplug. All right. Let's see if this video is it a video here. Let's see. Oh, this definitely ain't it. Hold on. There we go. Let's take a listen to this. Fair use, by the way. Fair use. As a matter of fact, this is just fair use. All right. I'm not using this. I'm using this video, for news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, or research. I'm not getting paid by any of this. And it's permitted in copyright, is a use permitted by copyright statute that may otherwise be infringing on my rights. So fair use. I'm going to get ready to wrap it up here in a minute.
And will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business
of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms, because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act...
And you see she's saying that at the NAA, the NAACP. What's the NAACP stand for? National Association, something for colored people, something like that. You see, but I mean, they're openly letting you know. They're openly letting you know what they plan on doing, like clear as day. Okay, so you know, let's see. Here we go. Let's read this. Federal Directive 5240.01 is a treasonous abuse of power. Actually, hold on. Let me see something. Yeah, Lord willing, I'll put the link of this in the description box so you can see for yourself, or read for yourself, or rather say. It says the U.S. Department of Defense issued a federal directive on September 27th that allows U.S. military troops to be used to assist state and local law enforcement upon request. See? Military troops to assist state and local law enforcement upon request. Weaponizing the military with actions up to and including lethal force. Okay? And if y'all don't know what lethal force is, let's just look it up. What is lethal force? Deadly force. That's what lethal force means. Okay? Deadly force, also known as lethal force, is the use of force that is likely to cause serious bodily injury or death to another person. Okay? It says in most jurisdictions, the use of deadly force is justified only under conditions of extreme necessity as a last resort. So it's going to be a chaotic situation, and this is how they're going to bring forth order when all lesser means have failed or cannot reasonably be employed. Firearms, bladed weapons, this is all the sword. Firearms, bladed weapons, explosives, and vehicles are among those weapons the use of which is considered deadly force. Firearms, bladed weapons, explosives, vehicles. All these various different things is what the Lord is going to use, all right, to bring forth holy hell on Jake. Because you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be public enemy number one when all this is said and done. Okay? Ezekiel 21. Let's read it in the NLT. It says, Then Yahweh said to me, Son of man, give the people this message from the Lord. A sword is being sharpened and polished. It is sharpened for terrible slaughter and polished to flash like lightning. Now will you laugh? Those far stronger than you have fallen beneath its power. Okay? Because it's gonna come upon Jake in his perfection. Okay, the Lord is gonna allow Esau to have his last hoorah before he takes him down, man, and he gonna put a spirit on E. It says, yes, the sword is now being sharpened and polished. It is being prepared for the executioner. Who's the executioner? Esau, man. It says, Son of man, cry out and wail. Pound your thighs in anguish. For that sword will slaughter my people and their leaders. Everyone will die. That's what the Lord is getting ready to bring, man. Okay? Death on a level, on a whole nother level that we have never witnessed before. Verse 13. I will put them all to the test. What chance do they have? Says the sovereign Lord. What chance do you have if the Lord's not on your side? If remember the scripture says, if the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shah be for you, who can be against you? If the Lord is not for you, that means that all things are going to be against you. Remember the scripture says that the day of the Lord is going to be as a lion, as you flee from a lion and a bear meets you. Then you get away from the bear and the snake bites you. Pretty much meaning that there's no escape. Remember, and what's some of the judgments of the Lord? Fire, hail, the teeth of wild beasts, the sword, all punishing the wicked to their destruction. You see? So then, are we here to make mirth? Are we here to debate? debate me. This the whole debate spirit. Is that the spirit that we need to be in right now? Man, no. Our job is to warn you of these things as we do in these videos, beginning with the apostles, on down. This is Directive 5240.01. Read it for yourself. The timing of the directive is interesting. 1 month before an election that is widely expected to generate chaos and civil unrest. Unrest. Right before the elections, man. You got all the, you got, individuals getting arrested, because they're plotting to shoot at mass gatherings. That'll be the perfect opportunity to implement, martial law. The directive states on page 13, interesting, so on page 13, defense intelligence components may provide personnel to assist a federal department or agency, including a federal law enforcement agency, right, or a state or local law enforcement agency when lives are in danger in response to a request for such assistance in accordance with the following approved authorities. Okay? So yeah, man. Okay? We see it's getting ready to go down. Okay? Let's read this here. It says, this federal directive is particularly concerning given the Department of Justice's shift of focus in recent years from prosecuting foreign-based, you see the word there, to going after what they consider domestic threats. Domestic means from within, right? I.e. patriotic, conservative, Christian Americans. A fancy way of saying white nationalism. Okay? But like I said, I'll leave the link in the description box so you can read the whole thing. But hey, it's going down. All right? And it's our job to report on these things. So, Lord, when this is edifying, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that's still teaching this truth, and much peace, love, and salutation.